You are listening to Live Your Happy Now, conversations to open up and live an authentic, happy, and fulfilled life. I'm your host, Veronica Parker. I have to tell you that, part of this show is being authentic and being real and not hiding beneath, facade or a mask or something. Where we pretend to be something that we're not, or we pretend to be feeling something that we're not. So in trying to keep things real with you, I'm going to share this with you, even though I wasn't planning on doing it when I was planning on what I was going to be sharing with you during this episode. I started a little centering meditation and prayer, which is what I typically do before starting a particular episode. And in the moment of connecting to something greater that still resides within me, whether you want to call it God, universe, source, goddess, infinite, divine, whatever that is for you, I just felt a huge expansion in my heart and such an incredible sense of gratitude for all the interconnections and how everything is coming together in my life, gratitude for just realizing that everything in my life has brought me to this space and time, gratitude for you, gratitude for this podcast, gratitude for this brand new program that is launching today, Miracles Mindset Mentorship. And probably what brought deep gratitude in my heart and really like tears rolling down my face was what happened right before I started the prayer. I got a text by one of the participants that is joining us on this program that we're starting tonight. And we knew each other because she's one of my students in Kundalini Yoga, where I teach locally. And we didn't know that we had both been also studying a particular science called Science of Mind. I discuss in many of my podcasts here, where basically Ernest Holmes, the father that created the science, says, if you change your mind, you can change your life. So it's absolutely amazing the connections that this universe creates for us if and when we are open and willing to receive them, to become aware of them, and to notice them in our lives. So basically, we have so many things in common, and there were so many similar interests. And, we only thought we had this connection of Kundalini Yoga, where we have this whole other philosophy of way of thinking that is so similar. And so it's no coincidence that she decided to join this program that's starting today. So today's show, or at least what I was planning to do for today's show, and it will be that and probably whatever else, the universe decides to download through me for you, is about whether or not you're kind of stuck with who you think you are, whether or not you are meant to struggle as you achieve success and results in your life. And we are also going to discuss, what is a mindset and why would you want to create a miracle mindset in your life. So let's see, where do we start? What would be most useful for you today? I think let's start with mindset, okay? So mindset is basically, and many of you probably know this already, but sometimes it's nice to hear a definition and see whether or not your definition aligns with that or not. So a mindset is basically a frame of mind that's made up of all your thoughts, your attitudes, and your beliefs towards something. And it's basically shaping the way that you habitually think about something. So why is it important for us to understand what a mindset is? Why do you even care? Why are we even having this conversation right here and now? We're having this conversation because your mindset, those thoughts, those beliefs that you have in your mind are what is creating your point of view. And then your point of view, that is based on everything that I just mentioned, is basically creating the reality that you're experiencing in your life. And hence, this really strong connection with Ernest Holmes and Science of Mind, and how it came so powerfully as I'm about to create this episode for you. Because Ernest Holmes' philosophy, as I've discussed in other episodes, and I'm sharing with you right here and now, is all about changing your mind so that you can change your life. And this is like a pivotal point in this discussion. Many people feel that your mindset, your thoughts, your attitudes, your beliefs are fixed. So whatever you are born with is just what you've been given, good, bad, or otherwise. You're kind of stuck with that. And how is that even useful for you? So if you think, or someone when you were in elementary school in second grade, 7 years old, one teacher might have told you, you're so stupid, you're not smart. Maybe they didn't really use those words, but something that they said made you feel or believe that you weren't smart. And you didn't clear that belief now that you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70, however old you are right now, then you've been subconsciously having this mindset that you're not smart enough. I'll tell you a story that happened to me when I was in third grade in Argentina. I don't even know why, but we were reading things in the classroom, obviously in Spanish. That is a language that we speak in Argentina. And the principal of the school decided to come in and listen as we were reading. And I have no idea why, but he decided to single me out and actually make fun of me, literally in front of everyone in the class, because he didn't think that I was reading well. He didn't think that I was like pausing when we had a dot or really a period at the end of a sentence, or I wasn't, accentuating things when they had an exclamation point at the end. And it's interesting because I never really share that with my parents or with my sister or my brother or anyone in my life. I kind of like shoved it inside. I was like, well, I'm not a good reader. I'm not good at writing. I'm probably not very smart, right? So fast forward to, let's see, when was this? Probably 7 years ago, when I was taking a core requirement for becoming a religious science practitioner through the course of Science of Mind and Ernest Holmes. And one of the things that we have to do, or we're encouraged to do, is to learn prayer in a whole different way. It's called Affirmative Prayer, where you're actually affirming what you want instead of supplicating this God that you think it's outside of you to give you, please, what you need. And so in this way of praying, we have 5 different steps that we follow. And of course, now they come automatically when I'm praying for myself or someone else. But at the time, you really had to focus on, okay, what step am I on? Am I doing it the right way? And for the longest time, I found myself feeling stuck, like, I just can't do this. I can't do this. I don't know how to do it. I'm not really good at writing this. I'm not really good at reading this. I was thinking that because I had to convert things from Spanish to English, that's the part that was getting me stuck. And when I really dove deep to figure it out, like, okay, what is holding me back? What is the mindset, the belief that is keeping me stuck in thinking that I can't do this, that I am limited, that I am not good enough to do this? I realized it was this belief that I had really developed about myself based on the stupid interaction I had with this principal when I was in 3rd grade in Argentina. So here I am, like 38 years old, still basing who I think I am based on what this principal told me that I was when I was 9 years old. So you know what I'm saying? So maybe that experience served me when I was going through elementary school, because maybe thinking at the time that I wasn't a good reader, I wasn't a good writer, I wasn't smart enough, maybe it actually helped me study more or apply myself more or get better grades. But fast forward to when I'm 38 years old, clearly that subconscious belief and that mindset was not helping me anymore. So then I had a choice. Do I want to keep believing that I am what this principal told me I was when I was 9 years old, or am I willing to shift this? Am I going to continue to feel stuck and think that I am who someone told me I am, or am I willing to do something different about it, be willing to change my mindset, my perspective, the belief that is hiding behind all this, so that I can change the experiences in my life and the results that I'm experiencing in life? Does that make sense? And so the choice that I made was that I no longer wanted to be this unsmart, stupid girl that didn't know how to read because the stupid principal told me that I didn't know how to read the right way according to him when I was 9 years old. And so I shifted it. I got out of it. I started saying affirmations that allowed me to begin to believe that I wasn't that anymore. So I am smart and I am powerful and I get to create my own reality. I started meditating more. I started praying for that belief to change. And I also started using energetic processes that allowed me to change that belief and thus the mindset that came with it. And so that's an example of why it's important for us to be flexible and know that our mindsets, our thoughts, and our beliefs are not fixed, are not stuck. They simply have been created based on an experience that you might have had earlier in life, or maybe even in another lifetime. The truth is that it doesn't matter so much whether or not you know how a particular thought, belief, or mindset was created. What's really important is for us to, A, become aware that this is going on behind the scenes, and B, using the power of choice to actually choose something different. If it's no longer working for you, if it's no longer serving you, then you have all your power inside of you, all the resources of the universe, of divinity, of source deep inside of you, and you have the ability to choose something different. And this is what I know you can absolutely do. Not only because I've seen many of my students and clients do it, but also because I've done it for myself. And so you have the power to change your mind. And when you change your mind, when you change your mindset, you begin to shift your perspectives and you begin to create new things in your life. So if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, a solopreneur, a healer, a yoga teacher, a creative, someone that really knows that you were born to create impact and positive change in this world, this is such a powerful tool for you. Because anytime that you felt like you were stuck, anytime that you felt like you were not worthy, you were not smart enough, you couldn't make more money, you couldn't get more clients, you couldn't get better results, or you had to struggle, or you had to effort so much in order to make more money, to have more clients, to get more results, to make a greater, more glittery impact in the world. This is why it's so important for you to become aware of what is your mindset and how do you shift out of feeling stuck and out of struggling into creating something that is much more successful, not only for you, but for your clients, for your students, and ultimately for the world. And let me tell you, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not a solopreneur, you are a mom, you are someone that works for someone else, it still applies to you. Whoever you are, whatever you do, it actually applies to everything and everyone, because you take your power back when you know that you are not stuck with whatever anyone told you to define who you were or who you are. You get to choose and you get to decide. So now that we know all this, what is a miracle mindset and why would it be useful to create a miracle mindset? You might be asking yourself. Da-da-da-da. So, I basically believe that miracles are just a different way of perceiving ourselves and the reality we are experiencing in our life. And I have this whole thing, and it was another episode that I share with you. It might have possibly been the last episode of last year or the one before that, where I actually share with you a presentation that I created on what is a miracle and how do you own being a miracle. So my whole perspective is that each and every one of us are miracles, and we need to stop looking for miracles outside of ourselves. Once you own the notion that you are a miracle, your mind is a miracle, your mindset is a miracle, your heart is a miracle, your arms are a miracle, your immune system is a miracle, your reproductive system is a miracle. It can actually create new beings in this world. Everything you are is a miracle. So when we shift from looking for miracles outside of ourselves, and we begin to remember and recognize that we are the miracles, we begin to experience so many more miracles in our life. And a miracle mindset, which is the whole essence of the program I've been creating and I'm still creating, and I've been in so much resistance to creating and allowing the divine guidance to show me the way, and I'll share more with you about that in just a little bit. So a miracle mindset is basically a mindset that you begin to tune into, to become aware of, to recreate inside of you, that allows you to basically make the impossible possible. So every time you told yourself that you couldn't do something, every time you align yourself with the limitations in your life, every time you fought for the limitations in your life, every time you told yourself you were not good enough, you were not worthy to be successful, to make more money, to create a greater impact in the world, you basically stopped yourself from sharing your greatness, your amazingness, your glittery sparkliness with every single person in this world who could have benefited from being in touch with you, with your creations, with the awesomeness that you are. So a miracle mindset allows you to transcend whatever limitations you think you have, whatever you might have consciously or subconsciously made impossible in your mind, to beginning to change your perspective, your point of view and the things that you're creating in your life by choosing something different and beginning to choose the miracles inside yourself and in your life. Does that make sense? And to make it even more clear, choosing those miracles and aligning yourself with those miracles allows you to basically create anything you want in your life. And by creating, I don't mean like, efforting or trying really hard or like just, struggling in the process. I mean, creating with ease what you love. So again, it's maybe stepping into your power and recognizing yourself as a leader that you really are. Maybe it's actually allowing those downloads and the messages and the calls you might have been getting from divinity to come forth into a full creation and manifestation of maybe a new program, a new book that you want to write, a new podcast that you want to create, or some other creative actualization of who you are, and bringing it to completion and sharing it with the world. Whether or not this is like your job, your business, your work, it is still part of who you are. We have this mantra in Kundalini Yoga that is basically, the first few words of it is Ek Onkar. And Ek Onkar, it's basically, the translation of it says that creation and creator are one. So let's do it clear and right here and now, because I know that there's been so many times in my life where I have gotten the downloads of what needed to be created through me, and I started working on it, and then my mindset got in the way of me actually completing those creations and bringing them into manifestation to share them with the world. Why? Because I thought I wasn't good enough. Who am I to do it? Am I worthy of doing it? Do I have enough time to do it? Why can't someone else do it? And blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this podcast that you're listening to right now almost didn't get created because for about a month and a half after receiving the divine guidance of doing it, I started questioning myself, but not the kind of questions that really expanded me, but more of the questions that kept me in the box and just kept me fighting for my limitations instead of what else is possible. How does it get better than this? And so eventually I shift my mindset and I was able to believe something different about myself. And I created the podcast, thank God. But for every time that you've stopped yourself from creating, you've made yourself wrong for allowing a divine guidance or creation from being downloaded in and through you. Every time you started a project and you didn't complete it, every time you procrastinated, every time you've judged yourself for procrastinated, every time you made yourself wrong for starting something and not completing it, and you didn't allow a creation or a manifestation to come into full completion, are you willing to destroy and uncreate it all? If you want to receive it, say yes in your mind or out loud, and I'll bring the access clearance statement for you. So right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. And anytime you thought you weren't good enough to create something new or to own who you really are or to create a new belief, a new thought, or a new mindset for yourself, are you willing to destroy and uncreate all that? If your answer is yes, then right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. And anytime you've allowed anyone outside of you to tell you who you were, to tell you whether or not you were smart or not, to tell you whether or not you were powerful, to tell you whether or not you were a leader, to tell you whether or not you could start your own business or your side hustle, or to write that book you've been wanting to write, or that song, or that creation, or that poem, or a brand new way to see in your children and yourself in your life? Are you willing to destroy it and uncreate all that? If your answer is yes, then right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9, shorts boys and beyond. Take a deep breath in. Exhale the breath. Notice what is changing for you. If there was something you can become aware right now that has shifted inside of you, what could that be? So to recap everything that we talked about today, you are never stuck. You have a choice whether or not you want to struggle in your life. Your mindset is basically all the thoughts, all the beliefs, all the past experiences, and the attitudes that create your point of view. Your point of view creates your perspective. Your perspective creates the reality that you're experiencing. So if you are going back and allowing yourself to shift your mindset, to shift all those limitations you might have been fighting for all your life, you get to change your beliefs and your thoughts, and you get to create something different for you today. How? By choosing it. First step of choice is choosing to create something different for yourself and for your life. And why not choose more playfulness, more fun, more joy, more happiness? Don't wait until you make more money. Don't wait until you have more clients. Don't wait until your kids are behaving the way you want them to behave. You could possibly die waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop procrastinating. Start right here and now where you are. Take a deep breath and know that in that breath, you have the power, you have the oomph to choose something different, to see yourself and your world with brand new eyes. You can start right where you are by knowing that the power is inside of you and that you're not alone in this journey. The power of source, the power of life, the power of everything that is breathing you into being is allowing you to reach higher, to remember you are an infinite being. And whatever seems to be impossible, whatever seems to be a limitation in your life can be transcended, can be overcome. How do you do it? By coming back to remembering that that power of divinity, that power of God, Goddess, Source, all that is infinite. And it resides deep inside of you, not in a place that is far away from you. And you can simply connect with that power right now by breathing deeply and by knowing that is who you are. So you're overcoming your limitation by coming over to God, to divinity, to source within, and by remembering that you are an infinite, limitless being. And anything that might have seemed impossible in your life can become possible. I am so happy and grateful that you tuned in to this episode today. If you need more help overcoming your limitations and creating the life of your dreams, where you're not only successful, but you're creating positive impact in the world with ease, grace, joy, and infinite possibilities, I welcome you to join us right here now for Miracle Mindset Mentorship. We are starting tonight. It is not too late to join. We have a few more spots available, and this program will absolutely, positively transform your life. It's 6 weeks long. Every single week, I get to share with you one of the 6 success principles for creating and accessing your miracle mindset. It will completely shift the way you do business, the way you create, and the way you connect with more possibilities in your life. Come on over to my website to check it out, veronicaparker44.com. If you enjoy this episode, if you got anything valuable from it, please share it with 1, 2, 3, or 300 friends. Come on over to iTunes, give us 5 stars, subscribe to the show, and tell us what you think about it. Leave us a review. I want to hear from you. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know what is holding you back from living your happiest and most fulfilled life. I also want to know what is changing, what is shifting, what amazing things you are creating in your life. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so grateful for you. Have an incredibly infinite, successful, and possibilitarian day where you get to create from your heart and you get to love who you are and what you are creating. You are absolutely amazing. Don't ever forget that. Have an amazing day. Sat Nam.